Hey y'all, how's it going? I am Joy, that is Steve, and this is week 17 of the NFL Predictions Versus.
Yeah, here we are nearing the home stretch there.
Yeah, we are. We got 2 games left in the season. Playoff picture is kind of shaping up a little bit, but it's still honestly anybody's game on both conferences.
True.
The wild cards are going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah. Hopefully it comes down to last game decides on some of them.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's going to. Not only for the divisions and stuff, but like for getting into the wild card round and the seeding, because there are
Mm-hmm.
some really, really fun scenarios that we can talk about
True.
in the episode if you would like to.
Absolutely.
But first things first, we have week 16 to review.
Mm-hmm.
So here are our current standings. We have John in the lead with 156.84. I am in second with 153.87. Mr. Agron has 150.90 in third. Steve right on his heels with 149.91. So
Mm-hmm.
honestly, anybody's game for third place right now, and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Troll took a bit of a tumble last week, and he is now at 133.107. SDS broke away from Buff after the Vikings game, I believe it was. Yep, against Detroit. So
Mm-hmm.
he is 132.108, and then Buff is 131.109. Dino got his game right last week, and he is at 11-6 on the season.
Mm-hmm.
So it is definitely anybody's game.
Yeah.
John and I are very, very close still, and
Mm-hmm.
coming into the postseason is really, really fun to be this close.
Mm-hmm.
So, where do you want to start on our look back now? Regret,
Yeah.
game,
We'll,
disappointment?
we'll start with our game of the week, and obviously both of us are going to agree on this one. I'm going to say, even though I lost on it, the Miami Dallas game there, that was amazing.
Yeah, honestly, that was a very, very good game. Another last second game winning field goal.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely closer than I kind of thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really encouraging from Dallas's perspective that, they didn't get completely blown out on the road
Mm-hmm.
against a very good Miami team.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to disagree with you though on the game of the week.
Mm-hmm.
And I am going to go with, weirdly enough, the Jets and Commanders game.
Oh wow.
That was so. And here's my thing with that is I had hope. Up until the final little bit, when I seen Greg Zerulian coming out to kick the field goal, I knew it was over. And I knew that I lost that one, which was a really, really good split game for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so to lose it in such a heartbreaking fashion,
Yeah.
it crushed me. But it was a
Yeah.
really, really good game. I was rather impressed.
Yeah.
Now, what would
So
you say was
let's
the regret?
let's see what the regret is. Mine will be obviously not trusting the Browns against the Texans. There, I was hoping Case Team can pick up the slack from C.J. Strouder, but how wrong I was there. Joe Flacco just blew him out of the water.
Yeah, Joe Flacco is honestly a beast this year, and I couldn't be happier for him. It was a tremendous performance. Amari Cooper as well
Mm-hmm.
just went off during that game, and then the defense doing what the defense does.
Yeah.
All around, fantastic win.
Yeah.
I think for me, my regret is probably going to be not trusting the Bucks at home.
Mm-hmm.
That was definitely kind of a bit of an eye opener for that game, but it also kind of shows the kind of trouble that Jacksonville is in right now.
Yeah.
When you lose to Tampa,
True.
and you're supposed to be trying to win your own division,
Yeah.
it's like you can't do that. They're kind of floundering a little bit.
True. And obviously, Trevor Lawrence is more injured than he let us on there.
Yeah, I think that was probably part of it.
Mhm.
Like, they, honestly, in my opinion, they should have let Beathard start to
Mhm.
protect Trevor Lawrence. And not only that, but I think that would have given you the best chance to win in that particular scenario
Yeah.
because Trevor Lawrence wasn't 100%.
Obviously.
Now, kind of a bit of a second regret, but I'm gonna call it my disappointment.
Mhm.
The Falcons deciding to start Heineke and me not know about it
Yeah.
was incredibly disappointing.
Yeah.
I don't know when they did announce that he was starting
Mm.
for that game, but I went the entire time thinking that it was going to be Ritter.
Mhm.
And then when I seen the score scrolling on the bottom of the screen during the Lions game,
Yeah.
it was Heineke. And I'm like, oh, so he's actually starting. Why didn't you tell me? I would have
Yeah.
gone with them had I known.
Yeah.
So that was kind of disappointing for me.
Guess the coaches tried to hold his cards close to his chest there, so nobody can read his poker face.
I suppose, but also, frick you, Arthur Smith. You cost me a very big win, and you withheld the Heineke from me. Never do
Yeah.
that. Never
Yeah.
do that, Arthur Smith. How dare you?
Mhm.
Along those lines, what would be your shock of the week?
Mine would be the Broncos losing to all teams, the Patriots.
Yeah, yeah. Bill came out to play,
Yeah.
and Denver's offense did not.
Yeah.
And I have to ask you, while we're on the subject,
Yeah.
what's your take on Sean Payton deciding to bench Russell Wilson?
Yeah. That's a little bit of a shocker to me there.
I was surprised as well. Um,
Yeah.
I didn't get that news until shortly before we were set up to record, so
Yeah.
I was miffed a little
Yeah.
bit and surprised.
Yeah.
In a way, I kind of get it because like Sean Payton's trying to like motivate and give a spark to the
Mhm.
team when they're obviously not doing well right now. But
Yeah.
for me, like you're trying to go to the wild card round,
Yeah.
and you're not gonna have your number one guy out there to do it.
Yeah.
Um, I really don't know what Stidham gives you that
Yeah.
Wilson doesn't.
Yeah. Makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean, and as a Broncos fan, I had to ask you what you thought. So
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously, Mason Crosby kicking that last second field goal with 2 seconds left there, it ruined my Christmas Eve.
I don't doubt it. I was scrolling Twitter. Speaking of my shock, I think is going to be Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Five turnovers.
Yeah.
That was the key to that game because like the offense just could not produce
True.
at all.
And yeah. And by the fourth quarter, he was benched for Sam Darnold there, and he came in there and came in like a house of fire there. But unfortunately, it was too little, too late.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if Brock Purdy was benched because he was dealing with some kind of an injury that was undisclosed, or maybe he got banged up during the game, and then he, for safety reasons, they pulled him because like the game's already out of hand. There's no reason to go out there and like kill yourself for the game. But
Exactly.
yeah, I was very surprised. I'm not really surprised that the Ravens won. I'm just surprised with the manner in which they did.
Yeah. Uh,
So it was bad. The Raiders
yeah.
were the exact same thing. Honestly, defense ruled the week.
Yeah.
Defense wins championships, and that
Yeah.
proved it. It was a disaster if you're an offensive fan. Okay, and now with all of that finished, we can move on over to week 17.
Okay, let's turn the page to that.
Yep, we turn the page. Another full slate of games, and no Monday night game this week.
Yeah, because obviously they don't want to compete head to head with the college football playoffs.
Exactly. That makes total sense. So in replacement of that, we have a Saturday game that I am terrified of. So,
Yeah,
if you are ready.
ready to go.
All right, here we go then. First up on a Thursday night, we have the Browns hosting the Jets.
Yeah, the last Thursday night game of the season there.
Yep.
Yeah, obviously the Jets there, as you discussed, their last second win there against the Commanders there cost
Yeah.
you a point.
It was a big point too, because like that would have been something that helped move me up even further in standings, and John and I would only be 2 apart instead of 3.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, I mean it is what it is. I knew better than to rely on Washington for help, but it's fine.
Yeah, yeah, and obviously with the Browns there, as we discussed, the heroics of Joe Flacco.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I think the Browns are really, really hot at the right time.
Exactly. Obviously, they'll be in the middle of a wild card race there.
100%. I definitely can see them making it. More so than other teams who are similarly record.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, obviously they're not going to win their own division. That's 100% the Ravens.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that of the other 3 teams, they are the better one to go to the playoffs for representation of that division.
Obviously, there. And for me, this one's a no-brainer there. I'm taking the Browns at home to beat the Jets.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think that defense is going to have a freaking field day with whatever the Jets are going to be bringing in. Pick a quarterback there. They have nothing for Cleveland, in my opinion.
True. They're just waiting for 2024, and they'll have a healthy Aaron Rodgers back, hopefully.
Yeah, unless he breaks his other leg in the first minute, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Stranger things have happened, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Alright. Now, speaking of strange things potentially happening, we have our Saturday game where the newly crowned kings of the North, thank you very much, will be going to Jerry World on Jimmy Johnson night.
Yeah.
With Troy Aikman and Joe Buck on commentary to face the wonderful Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. All they need now is Emmitt Smith to show up for the ceremony.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? He'll probably be there too. It's going to be bad for Detroit.
Yeah.
Personally, I think the fix is in. I think it's a trap. I think everything is stacked against them.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what they do best. They fight back hard when the odds are stacked against them. They're very gritty.
Yeah.
So,
obviously, you're excited about the Lions clinching the division there.
I'm so excited. I was 1 the last time that they won a division, and it wasn't even the North at the time. It was the freaking Central.
Yeah,
so,
back in 1993.
Yeah. Essentially my entire life, they've been basically a laughingstock of the league, and so to see them finally not only winning the division but getting some actual league-wide success and accolades and respect, it matters a lot. And I know that Lions fans are insufferable online if you're not a Lions fan, but you just have to let us have this one. It's been a very long time, and we've struggled, and we've fought, and being ridiculed for pretty much the entirety of your existence.
Yeah.
You deserve a little bit of celebration.
Yeah. Obviously playing in the same division as the Packers there.
Exactly. When you're going up against one of the league's golden teams twice a year, every year, it's hard to find a foothold anywhere. So, asterisks aside of, oh my god, they don't have Aaron Rodgers, and oh my god, the Bears don't have a quarterback, and the Vikings are always hurt.
Yeah.
circumstances may be what they are,
Mhm.
but if it was the other way around,
Yeah.
nobody would be saying anything. If Green
Exactly.
Bay dominated the division when the other 3 teams were wounded, they would just say
Yeah.
it was just Green Bay doing Green Bay things. So
Yeah.
everybody just
I
needs
have
to
a
calm down and let
yeah.
Detroit have this one.
Obviously, I have a question for you there.
Yeah.
Now that they clinched the division, do you think the Lions on Saturday might rest some of their big name players?
Absolutely not. Absolutely
Because
not. That is not the Dan Campbell way.
yeah, because obviously they probably couldn't catch the #1 seed. That's going to belong to the Niners, win or lose.
Well,
In my opinion.
here's the thing with that though. Mathematically, it is possible that they can get the #1 seed. What they need to do is they need to beat Dallas and then beat Minnesota in the final week.
Yeah.
And all they need is for Matt Stafford and the Rams to beat San Francisco in week 18.
Okay.
And they get the #1 seed.
Yeah.
Assuming Philadelphia doesn't do some stupid stuff. But not only that, even if the #1 seed isn't on the table, they still want to clinch the #2.
Yeah.
And Philly has a very good schedule these last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So you need to remain winning. And not only that, like I was saying, it's not Detroit's way. They're a gritty team, so unless it was the very last week and they were up, like, I don't know, 30-10, 34-10, something like that, over Minnesota in like the 3rd or the 4th, then maybe we can put in Hendon Hooker or something and let him get some reps. But you have to continue to play. And you don't quit until you're in, right?
Okay. But for me, this one is, I'm going to apologize for you in advance there, because I picked the Cowboys at home to beat the Lions.
Yeah, unfortunately, I actually agree with you for a couple of reasons. One, like I said, the fix is in. Everything Dallas themed is going to happen, and I'm reminded of the last time Detroit and Dallas face off in the playoffs.
Anthony Hitchens looks like he face guarded him. Des Bryant comes out without his helmet to argue. No flag on that. And then the flag that was thrown on this was picked up.
You never touched the guy, huh?
What is up with that?
And I'm still a little bitter about that. Not like bitter, but a little mad. And I just think that, everything is going to go Dallas's way in this game.
Yeah.
And my second reason is if I go against Detroit, they win. That's been historically how it goes. So I'm going against Detroit in a very important game so that hopefully my jinx can work and we can actually make something happen here. But I do think Dallas is undefeated at home, and they want to keep it that way. So, all right. So starting off our Sunday slate now, we have the Patriots and the Bills in a division rivalry matchup.
As we discussed earlier, the Patriots only scraped by the Broncos there.
They did.
By the synergy.
They did.
Yeah. Thank you, Mason Crosby, for ruining my Christmas there.
Honestly, I didn't know that was where he went. I heard that he got signed somewhere, like to a practice squad or something. I did not know that he got called up to actually be their kicker. So, good on him.
Yeah.
He's one of the, I believe he was a Packer. Don't quote me on that. He's one of the few Packers that I actually don't hate. I like him. So.
Yeah. Yeah. But this week they're going to take on a different animal there, and Josh Allen and the Bills offense.
Yeah. Buffalo's over horses.
Yeah, true. And Buffalo really wants that playoff spot there. Go in on a positive note there. Even though they might have a slight chance there to catch the Dolphins, but I highly doubt that would happen there.
Yeah, they're going to need some luck to win their division, I think. I think it is going to still be Miami's in the end, but like we said earlier, stranger things have happened, and
Exactly.
you know the Bills are playing some darn good football right now.
Yeah.
Never mind the fact that they let the Chargers hang around and nearly beat them, actually. So,
True.
thanks for the heart attack, Bills. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Always, but
And obviously, this one's a no-brainer. We're both picking the Bills there.
yeah, I am taking the Bills, but I am not going to say it's a no-brainer because the Patriots can easily play spoiler.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, since this is Bill Belichick's last season there, it wouldn't surprise me if he wins out, just so he doesn't go down as a loser, you know?
Yeah.
I could see him doing that.
Yeah.
Alright, next we have what should be infuriating, but interesting.
Yeah.
We have the Falcons going to the Bears.
Yeah. Obviously, as you discussed there, the Falcons starting Taylor Heineke at quarterback there.
Which, thank you, finally, I guess, but also, frick you for not telling me.
Yeah.
You cost me a big win, just saying.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously, the Bears, that was a no-brainer. They're demolishing Arizona there last week there.
I'm not gonna say it was a no-brainer. It still hurt me to do. Like, legitimately hurt me. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad I was right, but at what cost?
Yeah. But for me this week, I'm going to apologize to you, Joy. There, I'm sorry. There, Taylor Heineke cannot keep it up. There, I'm going to take the Bears at home to beat the Falcons.
You know what's really funny is I was actually very tempted to go with the Bears again. Just because nobody would expect it.
Yeah.
But then I seen that Heineke was playing.
Yeah.
And so I'm going with my boy. I have to go with Atlanta over Chicago because Taylor Heineke is playing. And I swear, Arthur Smith, if you don't start him this week after tricking me, you will be the first. You'll be the first person on my list for the next coaching casualties video that we do.
Yeah.
And you will never work again.
True. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm in agreement.
In my opinion, if by some miracle the Bears sneak into the playoffs on the last day, I imagine your jaw will be hitting the ground so hard that you'll have to get your father to take you to the dentist.
You know what's really dumb is that they're not mathematically eliminated yet. I don't think they're actually eliminated from the playoff contention, and that just shows you how absolutely messed up the playoff picture looks. So if they do manage to sneak their way in, I will be mortified. Just even thinking about that. Oh, do you have any idea how dumb it's gonna be if they find a way to make it in and they're the first team that the Lions play? And then they get beat again.
Oh my God. Get ready to call 911.
I would never recover if the Bears are the ones that bounced Detroit from the playoffs. I would never recover. Just, my day is ruined. Ugh. Moving on from that depressing note, we have the Red Hot Raiders, who upset the Chiefs, going to Indy.
Yeah, who would have thought the Raiders there would go into Kansas City and ruin their Christmas Day there?
A few people had that on their mind, and in hindsight, I probably should have. Kansas City isn't playing that great, and the Raiders, they have new motivation because of their coach, and I really, really hope that he stays on. Yeah. And he'll be another one that we discuss in our video. For this game, we have quote-unquote Minshew magic versus the newfound momentum of the Raiders. So, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking I'm going to go with the Raiders in a little bit of an upset to beat the Colts there.
Yeah, that is an upset. This was the last game that I picked because it was so close, and I was so tempted. I honestly think I got this one wrong, but I'm trusting the Colts at home.
Ooh, our split number 2.
Yeah, I think this game is going to bring a lot of splits this week across all predictions leagues because it's just that close. Like, it's honestly anybody's game. The Raiders' defense has been playing really well. The Colts' run game's fairly decent. So, like, it's just anybody's game, and it's something I'm really, really looking forward to. It could honestly be a sleeper for game of the week.
Yeah.
Not this one, though. Next up, we have the Rams going to the Giants.
Oh, wow, there. Who would have thought there that Tommy DeVito would think the bed there? No offense there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel really bad for DeVito. I think that the offensive line let him down massively, and like, he was doing so well.
Yeah.
I feel really bad for the kid.
Yeah, that he got benched in the second half for Tyrone Taylor, who almost made a game of it against the Eagles there.
Yeah, which also shows you kind of how weak Philadelphia is right now. So if Tyrod Taylor can almost make a huge comeback on you, that's not exactly good news. So,
but for me, there this week there, I'm going another little bit of an upset here. I think the Giants at home there, as long as they start Tyrone Taylor this week there, they can upset the Rams there. So my pick's the Giants.
Wow. I'm genuinely impressed. I did not do that, and I took the Rams on this one. I think that the Rams defense is gonna have a feast with the offensive line of the Giants, and more so than that, I don't think that the Giants defense is going to be able to handle all of the weaponry that the Rams have, and right now the Rams are hungry because they can smell the wild card. And I think that they know what they have to do to get it. And they need this game. Because winning next week is not going to be easy in the least. So they need this one, and I think that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, so split number 3.
Good lord, we already have 3. This ain't good. Oh boy.
There you are.
Alright, so next up we have the Cardinals and the Eagles.
Yeah, obviously Arizona's dumpster fire there in 2023 there. Kyler Murray there is just playing atrocious there.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, I never really liked him as a quarterback. So, and then over on the other side, you got the Eagles, who are honestly kind of struggling, in my opinion. The offense is fine.
Hanging on by a wing and a prayer.
Exactly. But nice.
But they do well at home there. That's the main thing there.
Right, they do. They have a decent home record, I believe. It helps that they're facing such weak teams.
Hopefully it helps them there carry on the playoffs, because if they slip even once there, the Cowboys will jump ahead of them and take the division.
That would be really nice, honestly. Like, I think, honestly, if the Cowboys do win out and Philadelphia somehow loses out, it'll be for a much more interesting conversation. Unfortunately, though, Philadelphia's schedule is very kind. And I don't see them faltering much.
So obviously this week we're both going to take the Eagles to beat the Cardinals.
Yeah, we are. I just, if the Eagles were facing any team that was actually competent, I think it would be different. But they're not. And I think that they're going to be able to win out and then maybe get healthy on the defensive side of the ball by time the playoffs start. And that will be scary. Very scary business. So, unfortunately, the timing does seem to line up for them. Okay, now we have an NFC South matchup with the Saints and the Bucks.
Yeah, who would have thought Baker Mayfield can turn it around there the past couple of weeks there?
Honestly, he's been playing very well. I think they've, won 4 in a row? It's really weird. It's like a tale of two halves of a season because they lost 4 in a row earlier during that Lions stretch. And then all of a sudden, they turned it on, and he's playing great in Lambeau, and they're on a hot streak right now. So, kudos to Baker Mayfield. I like the kid, so hopefully
he'll
be all right.
Jekyll and Hyde situation with him.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. It does really depend on which Tampa team we're gonna get.
Sure. Yeah.
And then over on the Saints side.
The Saints,
right.
Yeah, they're fighting for that division there. So.
Right, yeah, because they're not out of it. This is a must-win for both teams. So it's very, very important.
But for me, I'm going with the Saints on the road to beat the Bucks.
I am so glad that you are, because I did not. I took the Bucks at home. I think that I'm trusting them to defend the ship, and honestly, I think they're winning the division. And as much as I don't really like that idea, because I do like New Orleans better as a team, and then of course Falcons have Heineke, so I was always rooting for them as well. I think that the recent schedule has been very kind to the Bucks, and that's going to help kind of elevate them. When I seen the breakdown, I honestly think they have. Yeah, we do. I think they have the best chance of winning that division, and then getting bounced in the first round of the playoffs. Oh, and hey, look at that. Speaking of bad, we have the Commanders next. Thanks for losing to the Jets last week. Really appreciate that. They are in trouble because they will be hosting San Francisco after San Francisco's embarrassment against Baltimore. Niners mad.
Yeah. This the bounce back game Brock Purdy really needs.
Yeah, honestly.
There.
They need to build up his confidence, and what better game to do that in than with the league's worst defense? Like, they should have a monster game. Christian McCaffrey and Brock Purdy both. They should have monster stats coming out of this game. They need it.
True. This one's a no-brainer. We're taking the Niners.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Yeah. As much as I would like for the 49ers to lose out, because it would be great for my team, I don't see it. Not a chance. And I'm not trusting Washington with anything anymore. I can't do it.
No.
They cost me last week. Okay, next we have the Panthers going to Jacksonville in a Battle of the Cats.
Yeah. Unfortunately, my cat's asleep right now, so I can't ask him his opinion.
Honestly, both of these kitties go ow.
Yeah.
It's not looking pretty for either team.
True. Obviously, with the Jags there, we don't know how healthy Trevor Lawrence is there.
Yeah. Honestly. And I think, look, if he's not 100%, this is the kind of team that you can start Beathard against.
Yeah.
And be okay. Like, I think it's a decent chance that you can win with your backup against a team like this. Now, that being said, Carolina should have beaten Green Bay last week. According to Mr. Adam Thielen, they got kind of messed over in that game, which, considering it was against Green Bay, I'm not surprised in the least. Adam Thielen has a history with Green Bay, being that he's a former Viking, so he knows how this goes. And it's just unfortunate that it followed him to Carolina as well. So it's possible that Carolina is now a little upset after what happened, and maybe they can take it out on Jacksonville, who's kind of floundering at the moment.
Yeah. But for me, I'll say the Jags scraped by the Panthers this week in this game, and I'm just scared there. The Jags might just be too little, too late there to close in on that division.
Yeah, I mean, if they do lose this game, I think it is Houston's division 100%.
Yeah.
It's going to be a neck and neck fight for who wins the South, which is ironic because it's the same way in the NFC South. So something's going on in the South, and I'm not sure what's happening, but it's something weird's happening.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Carolina finds a way to win this, because, like I said, they're surprised. They're very surprising, and they're probably mad. But in all good conscience, I can't take Carolina. I'm not going to risk my standings on their attitude. So, unfortunately, I'm taking the Jags as well.
Okay.
Alright, next up is a very, very important game. And thus, it is DINOS Game of the Week, where we have the Ravens hosting Miami in a very, very important AFC matchup.
Yeah, this is obviously Game of the Week material there.
100%.
Because the Dolphins here, they're coming out on a strange high there to get to the division there, and they're in the battle for that number 1 seed there, and obviously the Ravens are the same feeling there.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, both of these teams are getting hot at the very end of the season, right when you need to, you know. Not the Vikings. I literally just read the name Vikings and it threw me off.
Oh God.
The Dolphins are currently on a 2-game win streak. So, but you went from blowing out the Jets to barely squeaking by the Cowboys right after shockingly losing to the Titans. So they're not exactly in the best of shape right now, and they're going on the road. So it's going to be kind of a rough battle for them. I do think that they're hungry and definitely can pull this off, especially with that speedy offense that they have.
True.
At the same time, the Ravens are just a monster team right now.
True. Obviously, beating the Niners, they're giving them positive vibes there that they can win the number 1 seed there. Maybe even give Lamar Jackson a few votes for MVP if he comes up with a big game on Sunday.
You know, it's probably going to go to somebody like Lamar Jackson for MVP. Because he's technically a quarterback, and that seems to be what the league likes to do. I think it should go to somebody like Tyreek Hill or Christian McCaffrey. But position players almost never seem to get the MVP. I was scrolling Twitter, X, whatever, and Barry Sanders had a good point. In '97, he rushed for 2,000 yards in a single season. And even that wasn't enough to get him MVP on his own. He was co-MVP with Brett Favre. So it's unfortunate that your accomplishments as a positions player, be it wide receiver or running back, don't really seem to be as respected in this league as somebody who throws, or in Lamar's case, runs for a living. Like, I know that he's MVP of the team, but like, you can't really deny what McCaffrey and Tyreek Hill have done.
Yeah, obviously there. This one's going to be a real close game. I'm going to give it my special, let's see, the 3-point or less thing.
Yep.
For me, I'm going to go with the Ravens at home to beat the Dolphins.
Yeah, unfortunately, I actually agree with you on this one as well. I just think that the Ravens are a very strong team, and they're more put together. I think, like, on the defensive side of the ball, and the like, and then, of course, trying to contain Lamar Jackson is always difficult. So, I do think that Miami will struggle with that, but I wouldn't be surprised if Miami can pull it off. I just think that Baltimore is a stronger team.
Yeah.
And they have attitude. Like, that was honestly why they destroyed San Francisco as much as they did, because they went into that being the underdog, and they took that personally. If I may quote the Michael Jordan meme, they took that personally, and so they kind of destroyed that poor QB. So
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think that it's going to be the Ravens game, but I think it's going to be really close.
Yeah. And now that we know how we feel there, it's time to hear from our resident bird.
Yep, it is. Take it away, buddy. All right, we got a big one. Dolphins and Ravens. Okay. He took the Dolphins. I can see that. Alright, so he grabbed both cards and really thought about it. But then in the end, he decided to go for Miami.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so of course we would split on this one, and he has a chance to have a much better win percentage than the rest of us if he gets this one right. So,
risky pick.
Yeah, risky pick, but I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
So good on you. In a way, I really hope that he's right.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so next up we have the tie that could have been.
Mm-hmm.
The Titans and the Texans.
Yeah. The question is for the Texans there is, can C.J. Stroud make it out of concussion protocol there?
Yeah, as far as I know, he passed protocol, but he hasn't practiced yet, and of course that's the most important thing. Once he gets a practice in, then he'll be cleared to actually compete, but as of right now, as far as I know, he has not done that. And then over on the Titans side, we have the return of Ryan Tannehill, I believe, because Will Levis is hurt.
Yeah.
So that could be a bit of a Tannehill revenge arc kind of vibe.
Yeah, obviously. But for me, I'm going to go with the Texans at home to demolish the Titans there.
Yeah, I'm not going to say demolish because of how the last game ended. But I am trusting the Texans at home. I think that if they were able to squeak out a win on the road against Tennessee, then having the home field advantage should help. I'm just concerned about the Tannehill factor. And of course, Derrick Henry doing Derrick Henry things again. It's going to be concerning. Hopefully he doesn't get another concussion during this game like he did the last one. That would be very bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm in agreement on taking the Texans at home.
Yeah.
Alright, next up we have the Steelers, who, much like Atlanta, pulled the wool over my eyes and started the right QB, going to Seattle to take on the Seahawks and the 12th man.
Yeah. The question is there, can the Steelers offense there do well in Seattle there, especially with the 12th man making a whole pile of noise there?
Yeah, honestly. I don't know. I do think if they stick with Rudolph, they have a decent chance at it, and I think this is going to be a good game. I think it'll be close. But given that it is in Seattle, I'm inclined to go towards the Seahawks a little bit more.
Yeah.
They're going to have all of their pieces back in play again as well, so that should definitely help.
Exactly.
I'm not sure how their defense is. I haven't studied them all that much, so I don't know defensively how well they do.
Yeah.
So that could be a bit of a concern, but I think as long as their O-line can hold up against TJ Watt and company, I think they'll be okay.
Okay. So obviously I'm going to take the Seahawks at home to defeat the Pittsburgh Steelers there myself.
All right, cool. So we do agree.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. I was concerned about that game, to be fair. But this next one concerns me a little bit more, just because of the teams involved. It is the Chargers and the Broncos, who, as we discussed earlier, have decided to bench Russell Wilson in favor of Jarrett Stidham for whatever reason. So
yeah, that's a head scratcher to me there.
Yeah, like we talked about with your history with actually being a Broncos fan, I'm very confused.
Yeah. But obviously the Chargers are in a free fall there. But except for what happened on Saturday, they nearly scraped out a win against the Bills there, but it's too little, too late for that.
Yeah, I was impressed with the Chargers last week, and I'm kind of disappointed that they waited so long to get rid of Brandon Staley, because if that was the case, then I would have had a good solo game against everybody, against the Raiders. So I'm glad that they finally did the right thing, but it was like 1 week too late, unfortunately.
Yeah, obviously there. But I obviously made the pick before you told me about the quarterback change, so I'm still going with the Broncos at home to beat the Chargers.
Yeah, you know what? Unfortunately, I was in the exact same boat. I made my picks prior to hearing the news, and so I'm also in agreement, and I am taking Denver. And I am filled with regret, because I think that the Chargers are going to be the Chargers for me and ruin my week. They're going to find a way to ruin my week like they usually do.
Yeah.
So let me just pen down my regret of the week right now. But
there you go.
At least I'm not alone, and you join me in that. Next, we have what should be a very interesting rivalry/not rivalry game when the very, very struggling Chiefs host the Bengals, who got themselves absolutely destroyed last week.
Yeah. Obviously, they're both teams are coming off huge losses there.
Yeah.
I hate to see what Christmas is like at Travis Kelce's house, if that's the case there. Him and Taylor there.
I don't think I can say what I think is going to happen with the Taylor and Kelce after his performance. I don't think that's appropriate.
Yeah. Exactly.
Let's just say that he's gonna need some help calming down.
Exactly.
Yeah, appropriate her song. You need to calm down.
Mm-hmm.
I think he needs to calm down. And
who's the angrier chief right now, Kelce or Patrick Mahomes?
That's a very good question. I think Patrick Mahomes has the right to be angry, because he's literally putting the team on his own feet, because none of the receivers can actually catch. And so he has to, on a not 100% ankle, handle this thing on his own. And, I asked the question while I was watching that game, what more does he have to do for this team? Seeing the kind of downfall of the Chiefs this year has been, in one way, pretty fun, because Detroit started it, not gonna lie. But it's also been kind of sad to see, because their whole dynasty is kind of in a way at stake this year, and they just don't have a complete team. Their defense is okay. Travis Kelce, of course, is Travis Kelce. And Mahomes is still magical, but they don't have a complete team around your pieces, and I feel bad for Andy Reid. I really like Andy Reid, and this was just not their year at all. And then over on the Bengals side, the Browning bandwagon kind of hit a bit of a rut a little bit last week. They did not do well. Jamar Chase going down didn't help, of course, during that game, but you know, both of these teams are looking to bounce back, and it's going to be really interesting to see who does.
Yeah, but for me, it's a no-brainer there. I'm going to take Mahomes there and the Chiefs to turn it around.
Yeah, I'm in agreement, but I'm kind of apprehensive about it. I honestly think that Cincinnati is going to win this one, but I'm choosing to not give up because I ain't no quitter, and I'm choosing to believe in the Chiefs still. And last week, I did say that if they lose to the Raiders, I was going to have to make that video that John and I talked about, and I really don't want to have to do that, so...
you lost the bet.
I did. I shouldn't... I have a bad habit of putting myself in bad situations, so I might have to actually make that video now that I mentioned it. I am a woman of my word, but we will see how the rest of their season goes before I fall off the deep end and make everybody mad at me. So I'm believing in the Chiefs, and that's that.
Okay.
Alright, so Sunday Night Football, the final game of the week, will be an interesting one. It's an NFC North matchup to determine who gets second place. The Vikings hosting Green Bay.
Yeah, what a perfect game to end 2023 on there.
Honestly, yeah, division rivals. There's a lot at stake here, so it's perfect.
Yeah, obviously, before a lot of people probably watching that before the ball drops in Times Square in New York City. There.
Probably, assuming people are going to stay up for that. I used to want to watch the ball drop, but then it kind of became meh. The last time I did, I believe, was 2016, just because of how horrible that year was for me, and I just wanted to end it. So I'm gonna stay up and make sure that I watch you die. 2016.
Yeah. Obviously, to quote the Queen, it was a analyst horrendous there.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So with apologies to the late Queen Elizabeth there.
Yeah. R.I.P. Little late for that, but still.
Yeah.
But so anyway, we have the Packers, who barely squeaked by Carolina. Their defense showed their true colors, and turns out it's also yellow. Go figure.
Yeah.
And then we have the Vikings, who poor Justin Jefferson tried his darndest to get them that win, but wasn't meant to be.
Yeah. Imagine they had a horrible Christmas then.
Yeah, I can imagine it wasn't very fun to be a Vikings fan on Christmas.
Yeah. Apologies to our lone Viking fan in the pick segment there.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Buff. We didn't really talk about the game or watch it together, but yeah, I do feel bad for Justin Jefferson, to be fair. And honestly, look, the Vikings' defense is still very good.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. I think that the Vikings' defense is great.
Yeah. But for me, they're, I think I'm going to go with a little bit of a risk. I'm going to go with the Packers on the road to beat the Vikings there.
Ooh, boy.
Sorry, Buff.
Yeah. Sorry, Buff. You know, I actually heard your cat for once.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's the first time I've ever heard it.
Yeah.
That was so cool. Okay, anyway, sorry. I get distracted very easily. For this game, I actually am in agreement with you, and I'm taking Green Bay, but for a completely different reason, I think. I'm taking Green Bay because I think that's what the league wants.
Yeah.
I think much like the Dallas game that we talked about earlier, I think the Packers are destined to be in the playoffs, by hook or by crook. They are going to find a way of getting in. And
He's in the wild card spot.
yeah, exactly. They're going to find a way of getting in, one way or the other. And I think Minnesota being down offensively because they lost Hawkinson, we didn't even talk about that. He has an ACL injury now; he's out for the remainder of the season.
Sure.
So they lost Hawkinson. Addison went down last week. Justin Jefferson can't do everything on his own. So I do think that they're kind of limping to a finish here. And if one of these teams has to win and get into the playoffs, I honestly think that the universe favors Green Bay.
Yeah.
Because, of course, they do. But honestly, both of these teams not making the playoffs would be pretty cool. So I'm down if they want to ruin things and tie. That would be ideal. But I'm in agreement. I'm taking Green Bay.
Okay. Now that that we gave our opinion on our picks, it's time to look at our friends' picks this week.
Indeed it is. So, first up, I'm going to have some help with these picks with Steve again. Because it honestly is a lot easier for me for some of these picks. Other picks I can kind of do on my own, but for some of them where I have to trade off, it's y'all understand. It's just easier for me. So, first up, we have Troll.
Browns?
Browns will win because future Vikings QB Aaron Rodgers will not be playing.
Lions?
You don't like him until he's winning you games.
Titans?
The moment Jefferson validates him, you will too.
Bears?
MT could stub his toe and still have a better career than half of your receivers.
Dolphins?
Run slants? This coming from a team whose whole playbook is Jefferson's out there somewhere?
Saints?
I'd call your team frauds, but the Bucs exist.
Patriots?
God awful, really. Imagine cheering for the best team of an all-bad division.
Cardinals?
It's like drinking gasoline to try to burn fat.
Jaguars?
Wait, you also hate the Bucs?
Raiders?
I don't know, man. Some weird Oklahoma people. Huge Bucs guys.
Giants?
Not much, I guess, to be like Texas, but somehow worse.
Commanders?
Imagine getting hype behind an O-line held together by duct tape and glue.
Steelers?
To be fair, it's hard to cope knowing you're only winning now to get railed later.
Bengals?
To think, all this and Baker is going to be released after the season.
Chargers?
Wait, did we just become best friends?
Vikings?
Do you want to go do karate in the garage? Alright, and now we have Agron's picks, who once again did it video-wise from his stream, and once again, it is featuring Campfire Chris.
Starting off on Thursday, Jets versus the Browns. The way the Browns defense has been, it's been rock solid, and Joe Flacco's been playing really well. I think this easily goes to the Browns.
Agreed.
Next up, we're going to have the Lions versus the Cowboys. I mean, Cowboys have not been playing well here recently, but we're at home. We're undefeated at home, so naturally we'll probably lose to the Lions. But I'm still going to pick the Cowboys because, how about them Cowboys?
As one does.
Next, we have the Titans at Texans. Is Stroud out for the season, or?
No, he potentially comes back this week. He cleared concussion protocol.
Okay, so he actually cleared the protocol.
It's just about whether he practiced or not.
I would like to see the Texans win. I really would. But without CJ Stroud, that team just falls apart. I mean, even with them, it's not necessarily going to be that easy. But if this is a big if here. If the Texans are able to play with CJ Stroud, I think the Texans win it.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Falcons at the Bears. Both pretty bad teams, or they're roughed up. But I think if Justin Fields is able to play at the level he's been playing at, the Bears will beat the Falcons. At least that's my thought process on it. What do you think, Chris?
I think the Falcons are overall the better team. I think generally they have better talent.
I can agree to that.
And I think that their defense actually shuts down wide receivers more often than not. And the Bears don't really have any other receivers that are notable. I mean, you have Darnell Mooney, but is Darnell Mooney really great? They only have DJ Moore. I think that the Atlanta Falcons defense shuts down anything that the Bears try to do, and the Falcons actually pull out a win here.
You think the Falcons go?
Yep.
Next we have the Dolphins going to the Ravens. I mean, this could be me being wrong, getting proved wrong here, but I think the Ravens are able to shut down the Dolphins. I mean, I wouldn't put it past the Dolphins to be able to put together some big stuff, but I think the Ravens take it here.
I think opposite. So me personally, I think that the Dolphins have a lot to fight for in this one.
I agree.
And Tua has the fastest release.
2.8
So
seconds,
the fastest,
isn't
yeah, the fastest snap to throw time in the league. Yes, the Ravens defense is decent, but if they can't get back there in time to disrupt Tua, then I think that the Dolphins actually come away with this one.
That is majorly fair. I don't know. I feel like the Ravens are going to come up with something here, but we'll see how it plays out.
Ravens need to lose out to lose the number 1 seed, and that puts a lot of power on the Dolphins. That's a mentality.
If the Ravens beat, or the Dolphins beat the Ravens, they'll have the tiebreaker, won't they? So it's not about losing out, it's about this game here. Next we have the Saints at the Buccaneers. This here is a must win for the Saints, isn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
Because they're 7-8 and the Buccaneers are 8-7.
Yeah.
I don't know how that would shake up that standing, but that's another very important game we're gonna have to watch. Bucks are at home. They've been playing really well with Baker leading the helm here lately, but this is also a divisional game, and you can't ever really tell how it's gonna go.
Yeah, but Baker's got a hot hand right now.
Yeah.
A 158.3 in Lambeau, and then a 130 quarterback rating last week. Baker's got a hot hand.
I agree. Like, Baker's been really tearing it up.
And the Saints do not have a hot hand.
Far from it. Like, Alvin Kamara is playing poorly right now.
I'll admit they came back and made it a really close game last week. So there's potential, and it is a division rivalry. I agree with that. I just think that Baker has the hot hand right now, and
I agree. But you know what? For Troll, specifically for Troll, I'll pick the Saints this week. Got you, Troll. So the Bucks are probably going to win. You think so, Chris?
That's what I think, but anything can happen. It's division.
Next up, we have the Patriots at Bills. So the Patriots are out of the playoffs completely. So this is a must-win for the Bills. I don't see them losing Patriots. I think it's the Bills game.
I think the opposite.
Really?
I think we're looking at an upset this week.
Oh.
I think old Billy Belichick has a little something up his sleeves because he's played the Bills twice a year for, I don't know, like 20-something years. Yeah.
True.
I think that his defense, which showed out last week against the Broncos,
Yeah.
For me, I think it's a New England upset, but I can agree with you how it's a must win, and then the Bills might come away with it, but in
But-
my eyes, it's an upset. Yeah.
But I wouldn't put it past Bill Belichick to just say, "F you and play spoiler." I get you.
Yep.
I get you. Next, we have the Cardinals at the Eagles. The Eagles have not been playing that well here recently, but I don't see them losing.
No. Like, you could say the Cardinals could play spoiler as well. In this case, I don't think it is. I think the Eagles come away with a win.
Yeah, hands down. Next, we have the Panthers at the Jaguars. Yeah, I just don't see the Panthers winning.
The Jags have looked really bad recently.
They have, and I'll give you that, but like I don't know if you would want to count this as a what do they call them, the powder puff games or whatever, where you play at the beginning of the season to just beat the shit out of the teams.
Yeah.
You get to feeling good. This could be their stretch here going into the playoffs.
It could be. I could see that.
So for me, Jags getting that W. Next, we have Raiders at Colts. I don't know. You know, I want to say Colts, but they haven't been playing the best here recently.
I mean, they beat the shit out of the Steelers 2 weeks ago.
The Raiders for sure surprised me.
The Raiders defense is looking great, but I think that there's too much on the line for the Colts to really give this one up. And
I agree.
This is time for Minshew magic and for Minshew to try to get a starting job somewhere next season, or at least go and at least have the opportunity to compete for a starting job.
Yeah, he can go to
Or he won't have
Carolina.
Yeah. Which I don't think he'll have with Anthony Richardson coming back.
No, I agree.
Next season. So
I think they're putting it all in on Anthony Richardson. So
and
yeah,
I think that the Colts go in hoping for a Jags loss so that they can take over as division leaders.
sounds like a play right there. Colts for the win. Next we have the Rams versus the Giants. Giants are already eliminated from the playoffs.
Yep.
The Rams, they're one of the 8 and 7 teams that are on that bubble, so this is like a must win. They pretty much have to win out if they want playoffs.
Yep.
So I think Rams go in and get the win.
Oh, absolutely. You got to look at the Giants. The Giants have the worst offensive line in the league right now. I mean, other than the Bears, and they're arguably who's worse.
Yeah.
I think the Bears are currently worse, but the Giants are not far behind. That offensive line really just failed Tommy DeVito last week, and right now it seems like the Giants can't really figure out who they want to start at quarterback, especially bringing in Tyrod Taylor halfway through the game last week and having too many play callers come in and try to make calls and making sure you have cadences, things like that. And then you have Aaron Donald on the other side of the ball coming down your throat. That's why I think the Rams win this one.
That team is built around Saquon Barkley being able to run the ball.
Yep.
And Saquon Barkley is not able to run the ball because of that offensive line.
Correct.
Now we got 49ers going to the Commanders. I think it's 49ers all the way.
Oh, easy.
I think they're pissed about last week's loss, and they make a statement.
I think as long as Brock Purdy is healthy, I think they throw him back in there to get his confidence back up in this game.
Yeah. Next, we have Steelers versus the Seahawks. A very crucial game for both teams.
For both. I don't even know on this one.
Both are sitting at an 8-7 record.
Mhm.
If the Seahawks want to make the playoffs, they have to win out. But it's the same with the Steelers. They'll have to win out if they want to have a chance at going to the playoffs.
I think the Seahawks win this one, mainly because the secondary of Pittsburgh is just, it's garbage right now. Letting big plays down the field to wide receivers all the time. They had a great game last week against the Bengals, but the Bengals have a backup quarterback and it was a division rivalry. The Seahawks aren't the same thing. I think DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett and Jackson Smith and Jigba just come in here and wreck shop.
I actually think this is going to be a game where Kenneth Walker actually says, hey, don't forget about me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't think the Steelers are going to be able to match. I think the Seahawks at home take it. I would love the Steelers to win. I would love for it.
Oh, me too. But I'm a realist. I know.
Yeah.
And that's just how this is going to go. I know what our team is.
Next, we have the Bengals at the Chiefs. This is going to be a real interesting game. I saw a video that Pat McAfee put out about, like, are we witnessing the Chiefs dynasty ending? And, just the question itself makes you think, because realistically, Patrick Mahomes has one decent receiver, like wide receiver, because everybody else drops the fucking ball.
Yeah, and then you have Travis Kelce, and that team is in shambles as far as leadership goes.
Yep.
All of the captains are arguing with Andy Reid. Nobody, like, you have Patrick Mahomes out here yelling at his offensive line, which most quarterbacks do. You saw Tom Brady do it all the time. Peyton Manning did it all the time.
Yeah.
That's part of the game. Like, it's intensity. That's what the game's about. It's passion. But you see these star players throwing temper tantrums on the sideline and not coming back and playing well. They're playing with too much emotion, and that's causing them to play poorly.
I agree.
And that's why I think that the Bengals actually win this one.
I want to agree with you. I really do. I think there's something about the Bengals in general. I think it's going to kickstart Chiefs, because, like, Chiefs and the Bengals always play differently against each other.
Yeah, that's a recent rivalry. But also, there's no Joey Burrow.
There's no Joe Burrow. You're right. And oddly enough, I think if there was a Joe Burrow, it would be the Bengals win. But since we don't have Joe Burrow, we have the Rifleman. Browning. Rifleman. No tomato. Either way, picking the Chiefs. Next, we have Chargers going into Denver playing the Broncos. Now that we got a new play caller, I'm half tempted to start Austin Eckler in my fantasy league.
They're still not going to beat those Broncos.
They're still not going to beat those Broncos, no. The Chargers need a lot going for them, and what they got right now ain't it, especially with that backup QB. Next, we have a really interesting game here. Packers versus the Vikings. We saw last week that even with Justin Jefferson carrying the team, it might not always turn out the way you expect it to be.
Yeah.
That being said, this is against the Packers. Are the Vikings going to be even more ramped up? It's a tough one, but I'm going to say the Packers are going to lose. Vikings get the win.
Yeah, I think the Vikings get the win here.
The defense of the Vikings is still playing relatively well.
All right, thank you, sirs. Now, next up we have SDS. who took the Browns, saying that Flacco is elite. Elite. Went with the Lions, NFC North clinched, keep rolling. He went with the Texans, saying that the Titans collapsed. Also, how did you manage to one-up me on Derrick Henry going off last week, Joy? Well, that is simply because I know my guy. Simply put. And then he took the Bears, saying now the Pigeons will be eliminated. Went with the Dolphins, saying meh. He took the Bucks. For my 10-7 record to stay alive, the Saints sweep, and the division for a third straight year. NFC South champs. He took the Bills, saying that they're getting hot at the right time. He went with the Eagles, just asking what happened to Philly. He went with the Panthers over Jacksonville, saying that the Jags have lost 4 in a row. It's time for the Panthers to pounce. Keep pounding, am I right? He went with the Raiders, because the division is now very within grasp. Do it for Antonio Pierce. I question that mathematically, but I'm also not going to 100% say no. I just kind of question it. He took the Rams, saying Mr. Gabagool has long been dead. He went with the 49ers, just questioning Brock Purdy, because as you do. He went with the Seahawks, doing his best Chuck Berry and quoting Johnny B. Good with Go Johnny Go. He went with the Bengals over the Chiefs because the Chiefs lost to a QB that barely threw over 50 yards. Which is what happens when you have a defense to rely on and you don't have to have a quarterback take it to the air all the time. He took the Chargers, saying that he is rescinding the Week 15 sentiment about the Chargers, and he apologized to you, but benching Russ is waving the white flag. And then he went with the Vikings, surprisingly, saying that if Joe Barry made Bryce Young look like an actual QB, Mr. Effett Jefferson's down there somewhere, definitely will as well. Okay. And then he, nope. That's it. That's all he did. Okay. And then we have John, who went with the Browns, saying the Jets are bad, okay? And then he went with the Cowboys, saying that the Lions are about to get jerried by a geriatric. I like that one. That's good. He took the Bills to make an easy pick for Week 18 Sunday Night Football. He took the Falcons because of literally Heineke. He went with the Raiders. Their D has been on fire as of late. Want to continue that against Minshew. Sounds like they need to get checked out. He went with the Rams, saying Stafford, playoffs, go. He took the Eagles. He took the Bucks, asking them to win the division to lessen the Week 18 stress. He took the Niners. He took the Jags, saying that they're going to lock up the number 1 pick for the Bears, which is unfortunate, but, you know, it is what it is. He took the Ravens as well. Number 1 seed, here they come. I kind of secretly want them to do what happened last time they had the number 1 seed. So I'm not mad they are in the Super Bowl. Agreed. He took the Texans. He took the Seahawks because they're at home. Although, while you're here, TJ, call me. I love that. Oh my god, I was downloading games on Steam this whole time and had no idea. That would explain my lag. Okay. He took the Chargers, saying Denver do dumb, Chargers also do dumb. Sounds about right. He took the Chiefs, because the Raiders/Broncos can win the AFC West if y'all lose. And then he took the Packers, asking them to tie to end both of their playoff hopes. I could not agree more, my friend. About both the Packers and the Seahawks reasonings.
Yeah.
Alright, and now to close us off, we have Buff's picks.
Okay. We'll start off with the Browns.
Boo. No one likes that bum.
Lions.
I will never like him. Blasphemy.
Texans.
Don't you dare bring Jefferson into this. I hope MT stubs his toe.
Bears.
Maybe if every receiver on our team only ran slants, get a grip.
Dolphins.
That's because he can do more than run slants. Heck, he
Saints.
runs those better than MT.
Sorry. Saints.
Yeah, the Bucs are a terrible franchise.
Bills.
Like knowing you're going to have a serious medical condition and cheering for a stroke.
Eagles.
Oh, God, for real, for real.
Panthers.
Who doesn't? The Bucs are the most losing franchise.
Raiders.
Well, it's Oklahoma. What do you really expect?
Rams.
Couldn't be me.
49ers.
Well, it only fell apart because the fans ate glue.
Seahawks.
Copium is real in the Bucs fan base.
Okay. Then Bengals.
Can't wait to see him in purple and gold. Skull.
Chargers.
Yep.
And Vikings.
Yep. And with that, that should end it for our Week 17 prediction special.
Yeah. Obviously, to everyone out there, hopefully you have a happy and healthy 2024.
Yep, exactly. New Year's Eve, we are getting ready to kick this year firmly in the past. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely okay with booting it, per the usual. The latter part of the year was kind of rough, I think, but overall, I don't mind it.
Yeah. Obviously, to everyone out there, if you don't mind there, hit the like and subscribe and turn on the notification bell for all our future versus videos on here.
Yep, exactly. Every Thursday at noon, except for next week, because what is next week? Do we have Saturday games, or are they all on Sunday?
They're all Sunday as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. Then that means that next week we'll be having a Sunday Pickems episode, dropping at noon Eastern Time next Sunday, because we like to record the day before the games go out, just so we have plenty of time to get all of the news in, so we don't have another Chargers and Broncos situation. So, yeah, so now that we don't have any Thursday night games, they will be done Saturday and then posted on Sunday.
True. And obviously, there in a couple of weeks, we'll have a special video there involving myself and Joy and special guest John to discuss the coaching casualties.
Yeah, exactly. Every year, Steve and I usually do a Black Monday coaching carousel kind of video where we kind of discuss what coaches we think will be fired, who should be retained, where we think other coaches are going to go, and the like. And this year, since we have everything set up on the platform that Steve and I use to record, we're going to bring John in as well and have more of a group conversation for that.
True.
So that should be very, very fun.
True. And to all our friends out there, if you have a coaching casualty there, we like to discuss there, please post it in the comments below.
Exactly. So give us your ideas, who you guys think will be, and we will compile a list over the coming days and get a whole fleet ready to go for next week. Because from what I heard from Jay Glazer on his report, there is currently 9 that are potentially going to be open. So there's a lot of seats to fill and a lot of seats burning up right now. So it's going to be a really fun episode and a really good way to kind of wrap up the year and the season that was. So per the usual, Steve and I are going to do that again. Let us know what you guys think about that, what you guys think of this predictions versus so far, and we will catch you guys next week for the final week of the regular season.
Thank you all. See you next week.